So today's YouTube episode is about perspective. You just don't know. I want to talk to you about how when you're around someone and you're end up in a bit of a stressful situation because of someone else, because of how you've reacted, that you need to check yourself. Because if you live in a world where your God or your universe aren't there to hurt you or destroy you, that they're there to teach you, that those lessons come in purpose. And when they arrive to you in purpose, you have to be able to identify that. So today's episode has to do with your need to see things for what they are and not react. So, first story. I want you to picture a New York City subway, rush hour. These two stories are out of a couple of Stephen Covey books. But I want you to think about the atmosphere inside of a subway at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And Buddy gets on the subway with 5 kids. And he sits down on the subway and he puts his hand in his head, and the kids are running around like Day-Day's kids, knocking things out of people's hands, bumping, stepping. It's packed. So there's a lot of chaos going on, and these kids are going crazy. For those of you who live in New York, you know New Yorkers. For those of you who don't know New Yorkers, they're pretty quick to tell you about how they're feeling. And some people start to lean into this dude about how he's not watching his kids and how someone should be parenting those kids and should be letting them know that they need to be sitting down and acting right in a public place. And Dad looks up and says to the people, their mom just died, and I don't know how to tell them. And that's where the lesson is, right? Because if he were to get on the train and say, listen, my 5 kids are going to be a little crazy. Their mom just died, and you would have been like, here's my stuff, knock it out of my head. This kind of thing goes back to the angry thank you also, right? If you're not saying, if you're upset that somebody doesn't say thank you properly and you react to that, it's maybe because they're rude, but also maybe because they're thinking about something. Maybe they're not rude, they're just going through chaos. For me personally, I was the guy that would brake check somebody, right? If you're coming into my lane, if I'm in the fast lane, you're riding up on me, I'm going to have to try to tap and get you to stop. And then about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. My grandmother just passed away from a medical error inside the same facility that my son was about to get a liver transplant in at 6 months old. And what this required was a daily drive to Miami from where I live in Hollywood. I lived 35, 40 minutes. But it required daily drives. And sometimes it would require a drive where Justin would get sick and we have to race to Miami. In the fast lane, and somebody would be going slow, not happy that I needed to go faster than the speed limit, and would brake check me. I don't know how to communicate to you the level of frustration that comes with that, knowing that you have to get your kid somewhere who's sick and possibly dying, and somebody just thinks that they want to be a dick and step on the brakes. Like who, when I step on the brakes in front of someone because they're behind me, who, like, I could just move over, be a lot less stressful. They had no idea what I was into. They just thought I was a speeding punk and trying to get someplace faster than I needed to. But who is that person to teach me a lesson? But back to there are no accidents, right? That had a purpose too. Because maybe I needed to slow down right there to avoid an accident later. I don't know. But in terms of you never really know, you should move next time. Think about this. You've all been through this. You're at Publix or Winn-Dixie or Cole, whatever it is. And you're waiting online You're in the aisle where they only allow, 7 or 8 to 10 pieces, right? And you're, say, 3 or 4 people back, and somebody in front of you has 12 pieces. I want you to picture this guy running up to the counter. He's got 2 pieces in his hand, 3 people in front of him. There's an old lady at the counter ringing her stuff up. She only has 9 pieces, not the end of the world. This guy's pissed, right? He's in a rush. Come on. As get through all of the stuff, the cashier rings up everything. Then the lady pulls out her checkbook, and then she starts to write it. This guy's in a rush, so he's starting to get a little irritated. And he's probably thinking to himself, why didn't you fill out the check earlier? You can write Publix on it. You can write the date. I mean, you can move forward faster. Eventually, she gets through everything. The next lady comes up. She's got 11 pieces. This guy's pissed, right? Because he's just got 2. They should have probably let him through. And the lady next has 11 pieces, and he's giving her the dirty look. And next one comes up. Cashier's getting a little distracted. And then right before Angry Man shows up to start ringing his stuff through, the cashier answers the phone, her cell phone, and starts to say, hi, oh, it's so good to hear your voice. I missed you. I can't wait to see you. It's so great to hear your voice. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you. I miss you. Wow, you sound great. And this guy's about to lose it. She says, okay, I can't wait to see you again. I'll see you when I get home. I miss you. Love you. Bye. And this guy starts to let her have it. Oh, that lady should have been faster. You took somebody with more than And the cashier says to him, I'm sorry, sir, but that was my grandfather. He has Alzheimer's disease, and he remembers me today. Since we've all been the person frustrated in the line, you never really know what's going on in someone's life. You don't know what makes them tick, what slows them down, what kind of change agents are in their life, what kind of chaos that they're dealing with, where they're not able to be the kind of decent human being that you would need at that time. But knowing that that cashier was on that kind of phone call, or that the older woman at the front had terrible arthritis and pulling out her checkbook and pen caused a lot of pain, so she only wanted to do it once, you would let those things go. And there's no way that any of you can sit back right now and say to yourself, well, I know what's going on in somebody's life, because you don't. And if you sit in a place where you're going to judge how they're reacting or why they're reacting or when they react, you should go and check yourself, because we're all entitled to a reaction. We're all entitled to our feelings. I'm going to wish you a great weekend, a happy Friday. Thanks for listening. Please follow, subscribe, and share. This is about fostering a dynamic impact, and the best way to fatty is to share this. Thank you.